beautiful legacy. Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were.
Hello and welcome. You are listening to Beautiful Legacy. I'm your host, Tiago Pinto, and this is your short moment to look at the objects, systems, and ideas that shaped the way we live. In this chapter, we begin with the work, the everyday design, the object, so intimate, so close to the body that we almost forget it had to be invented. Today, we look at the bra, an invention meant to free the body that became a new standard. Created as a rejection of the corset, it introduced softness and movement, but also became a cultural standard of its own. That is why its legacy, it's not simple. It sits between liberation and pressure, between comfort and expectation, between the private body and the public gaze itself. Before the bra, the dominant undergarment for many women in Europe and North America was the corset. The corset was not simply underwear, it was architecture. It shaped the torso, controlled posture, compressed the waist, and held the body in a socially acceptable silhouette. For centuries, it carried an idea of femininity built around containment. The body was not only dressed, it was disciplined. The corset was also a design system. It connected fashion, morality, class, gender, and public behavior. It told women how to stand, sit, appear, and sometimes breathe. By the early 20th century, the modern world was moving faster. Women were entering more public spaces. Clothes were changing, social rules were shifting. Dance, sport, work, and urban life required more freedom than tight lacing allowed. That is where this story begins, not with a laboratory, but with a young woman getting dressed for an evening event. Mary Phelps Jacob was born in a wealthy New York family in 1891. In 1910, preparing for a debutante ball, she faced a specific problem. The corset did not work with her dress, so Mary Phelps Jacob improvised. With 2 handkerchiefs, a ribbon, and the help of her maid, she created a soft undergarment that supported the bust without the rigidity of a corset. It was simple, almost fragile, but it did something radical. It separated support from control. That is the design breakthrough. The object did not reshape the entire torso. It did not impose a rigid body architecture. It allowed the dress to fall naturally. It allowed the body to move freely. In 1914, Mary Phelps Jacob received the patent for what she called the backless brassiere. Later, she sold the patent to the Warner Brothers Corset Company. The commercial life of the bra soon moved beyond her authorship. It became industrialized, standardized, sized, advertised, medicalized, eroticized, politicized, and endlessly redesigned. But the original gesture remains powerful. A woman confronted with a restrictive object and made something else, not as a manifesto, not as a theory, but as a practical refusal. But once an object enters mass culture, it rarely remains only what it is meant to be. The bra began as an alternative to restriction. Over time, it became its own standard. The question shifted from how can this object make the body freer to how should the body look inside this object? cup sizes, straps, padding, shaping, lifting, minimizing, enhancing. All these choices expanded its function. The bra was no longer just responding to the body. It was interpreting the body itself. Eventually, it was judging it. That is the paradox. An object designed to free women from the corset became part of a new visual discipline. Softer, yes. Less restrictive, certainly. But still carrying expectations. Still telling the body what it should become. The bra is not an object that we can analyze only through function. Its function is never just physical. It supports, covers, shapes, signals, hides, reveals, protects, and performs. It belongs to the intimate body, but it is shaped by the public gaze. Most design objects mediate between people and the world. A chair mediates between body and rest. A kitchen mediates between body and labor. The bra mediates between the body and culture itself. It asks what is natural, what is proper, what is beautiful, and what is comfortable. What is expected? Who decides? A weak object disappears when culture changes. A strong object becomes the place where culture negotiates change. The world we inherited from the bra. The world where liberation can become a market, where comfort can become expectation, where freedom can become another kind of rule. The bra reminds us that design is never neutral simply because it is useful. A useful object can carry ideology. A comfortable object can create pressure. A liberating invention can become a standard people feel forced to follow. This does not make the bra a failure. It makes it one of the most revealing objects in modern design history. Its legacy, it's not clean, it is not heroic, it is contradictory, and perhaps that is why it feels so modern. Mary Phelps Jacob did not invent the expectations that later gathered around the bra, but her invention opened a new chapter in relationship between bodies, clothing, and freedom. It replaced rigid structure with softness. It gave women another option. And yet, history turned that option into another cultural system.
Beautiful legacy. Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were.
Mary Phelps Jacob's invention was not monumental. It was light, improvised, and practical. Sometimes the most important design changes do not look radical at first. It is the story of how design lives inside culture, how an object can begin by answering one need and become part of many others. Support, freedom, modesty, desire, expectation, identity, all held together by fabric, straps, and structure. And that, truly, is a beautiful legacy.
Beautiful legacy. Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were.
You've been listening to A Beautiful Legacy. In this new chapter, we are exploring legacy through specific works, objects, rooms, systems, graphics, and ideas that changed the way we live. If this episode shifted how you think about clothing, comfort, or the hidden expectations carried by the objects closest to the body, follow the show and join me for the next episode. Until then, keep noticing the beauty people leave behind.
Beautiful legacy. Every trace of who we were. In the shape of a chair, in the light on a wall, someone's dream still stands tall. But echoes fade